Hello everyone, this video is going to be about installation of Windows Server 2012. And before we start this installation, I just made a key notes of the hardware requirements we are needed. Sorry for that. And as you can see, I just made a section, two sections. Is one's the minimum requirement and Microsoft's recommended requirements for installation of. I won't read everything out, it's just I would be copy pasting it in our description of this video, and I've prepared some more text on top of it, and we will be talking about as soon as we progress through this video. So at this stage, just have a look at the hardware requirements before you start the installation. So for the installation I'm using Oracle's VirtualBox, and if you haven't used it before, you can just go on their website, and the website is www.virtualbox.org, and you will be seeing an option here, downloads. If you click on downloads, and you can download whatever operating system you are using according to that. I'm using Windows, so if you're just using Windows, just click over here and the installation will start. And I'll just cancel this out already. And once you run the software, it's quite simple to use. You'll be getting this page on it. So now let's first create a machine. To create a virtual machine, I'll be going here on option of new, and first of all I need to give it a name. I can give it a name as Win 2012, and if you did notice, it's picked up the version automatically from all the options has. The advantage to this is that it would be by default it will pick up the best option that it has. So if I go on next, it says the memory size. I'm taking at least 2 GB of RAM. To next, it's asking about the hard disk. Where to create. Now it's asking what type of file do I require. For this exercise we'll be using VirtualBox, its disk image. To next, it's asking what type of physical the hard drive. Do you want it dynamically located or a fixed size? And it's given a very good explanation over here. What's the difference between? So I'll be using dynamic. I'll do next. Now it's asking me how much space do I require. I'm giving it 25 GB. I'll do create. As you can see, it has created a virtual machine for me. Now to do the installation, I do need the ISO image, and the ISO image I have downloaded from Microsoft's official website. It does give us a 120-day evolution period. So if you can just see, this is the URL, and then you can just sign in and download, and it gives you 180 days to try it, practice, use it. So I've already done that. Let's go back to our machine. Now if I do a right click, it says settings here, and if you can see, it says storage. Now you can see the sign of this optical drive. If I click it over here, it's optical drive, and give a click over here, I do have an option. I can use a virtual optical disk. As you can see, I've already have my Windows 2012 mounted, but if it's not, you can just choose from once you downloaded it. That's my Windows Server 2012 ISO. Just select from here and do open. I'll do OK, and there's an option here, start. I'll press start. As you can see, it's starting. Now you can see Windows is loading the temporary files. And one thing I like to do is make it a full screen so you can have a good look at it. So if I give it I'll do on view, if I do scale mode, that's much better, I think. Just let me adjust it. Now here it says language to install. I'll leave it default. leave the keyboard default. I'll do next. There's an option of install now, or you could repair your computer, but since it does not have any installation on it, so I'll just install now. As you can see, it's giving me 4 options here. What version do I want to install? And I'll be using the standard evolution server with GUI, and so it'll be easy to explain some of the things that would be required in this video. I'll do next. It says accept the team agreement, accepted. Next. Now here it says, do you want to upgrade it or do you want to install Windows? So I don't need to update anything because there is nothing to update, so I'll do custom install. Now you can see it gives me an option here. I can format it, I can add a new drive here, so I just leave it blank here. Do next. Now you can see the window has started its installation. This process does take around 10 to 15 minutes depending on your computer hardware. I'm going to pause this video and I'll be back soon as the installation finishes. Alright guys, and it took around 18 minutes for the installation to complete, and it's now the computer is restarting. This process generally takes a couple of restarts to finish, and still waiting. Alright, welcome back again. I just had to pause the video, and now you can see it's asking me that I need to set a password for the administrator account. And to set a password, we do have certain guidelines. I just copy pasted this from the Microsoft's official website. Just do have a read through it, what you can use and what's best practice to use it. And so let's go back and set a password to it. I'll do finish. And you can see it says need to press Control Alt Delete to sign in. And I'll just type in the password again. And this is the screen as soon as we finish our installation. Now you would notice that soon this is a Windows feature that the server manager would automatically would display on our screen. As you can see, it's coming on. Now let's talk about the server manager. And the server manager is a very useful tool for the administrator, as you can add, remove roles, role services, view, manage and modify configurations of installed roles, and connect to remote servers, it does quite a lot of things in here. So now if I go with my local server, if I just click on the icon that says local server, here you can see my computer name is Windows has just given it a default name, and it's not a very, I would say, pretty name it's given. And you can see, so let's just try to change the computer name. I'll just click on the computer name to change it, and you can see you can give the description. I'll give it here server. Let's give it lowercase server. I'll do apply, and I'll do OK. And let's give it a static IP address. So for that I'll do Ethernet. I'll just make this a bit more. Yeah, I'll do Ethernet. I'll click on IPv4 addressing assigned by DHCP, and you can see Ethernet. I'll do right click, properties, and you can see it says Internet Protocol version 4. I'll click on there, do properties, and here it's asking me obtain an IP address automatically. At present we do not have a DHCP server, so it cannot obtain an IP address. So I'll do use the following IP address, and it's always a good practice to give your server a static IP address, because you would like to have the IP address remain there. So I'll give it, let's give it 192.168.1.1, and the subnet mask I'll just keep the subnet mask default subnet mask, and this is the gateway. Let's give it a gateway. I don't have a router in my environment, but I'll still give it. And for DNS server, in coming videos I would make this my DNS server. So what I'm going to do is give it IP address, its own IP address. So let's just give it a loopback address here, 127.0.0.1, and alternative DNS, just let's give it 192.168.1. let's make it 50. I'll do OK, close that, and you can see it's picked up my IP address. But if you notice, the computer name has not changed yet. The reason why I wanted to show this thing was that some of the services in our server would require a restart. So it's always a good practice, as soon as you make any changes to your server, just restart your machine, so you know the service is working, and it's working over there. And let's do one thing, just for practice, before we end this video. Let's add a role, and then we'll remove a role. Now to add a role, if you see this option here, manage, sorry for that, you can see it says manage here. If you click on manage, it says add roles and features. Now it's giving us some basic information, it's good, just read before you begin. You can always press skip this page by default, so next time you don't have to read it, but just do have a read before you do next. So I'll do next here. It says what type of installation do you want? Should it be a role-based or remote desktop service installation? And at present I'll just do it role-based. In coming videos we will talk about remote desktop service installation. I'll do next. Now it's saying what server do you want it to be on. You can see it's still picking up an IP address that we haven't given it, and let's see, it might have conflicts afterwards. So, and the name, it's still picking the old name on. And you know what, I am going to restart it before adding any role, so I just don't want an issue afterwards. So I'll do cancel from here. I'll just close this, take my, I'll go on this window option, and you can see there's a power option here. I just do restart. It says here, why do you want to restart it? It's asking for a reason. I'll just do unplanned. Continue. Now if you see, it says press any key to start the installation, and I will talk about that afterwards. It says press Ctrl Alt T to sign in. So I'll just sign in. And as I said, whenever we restart it, you would see the server manager popping up automatically. So we should be seeing the screen soon. And you can see the server manager starting up. Okay, so let's check if I go on my local server. You can see the computer name has been updated to server, and the IP address that we required has been there. All good. So again, I would repeat that it's very important whenever you make any changes that do restart your server. So what I'm going to do is just add a role, and then I'll just remove it, so we can have a basic understanding of how to add and remove roles. So if you go on manage, the option here, add roles and features, and next, we talked about this thing. Next, let's think on what server do you want. This is a very good feature. We'll talk in our coming videos that how you can manage remote servers from just sitting on one main server. If I do next, so now let's add DNS server. As soon as I clicked, if I just go back, if I just click over here, it does inform me that additional tools would be required. So the following tools are required to manage this feature, and so I'll do add features, I'll do next, and I'll do next. They tell me about DNS, do have read of it. I'll do confirm. This is a good option. Just click here, restart the if required. You can see it says restart the destination server automatically if required. I'll just click here, and it tells me the same thing. It'll just restart. Do next. I'll do install. You can see it says starting installation process. You can see it says installation succeeded on server. You can just close. If I go on my dashboard, if you can see, it's added a new tile of DNS. Now this would be very useful. This tile you can manage it from here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this, and you'll see it'll be gone from here. To remove it, if you go on manage, remove roles and features, and so just read it before you do next. So ask me what server is it. I'm talking on my server, the name is server. what I'm going to do is just uncheck the DNS server from here. It does inform me that if I was to remove DNS server, these tools will also be removed. So remove features. I'll do next, restart if required, yes, remove. Shouldn't take much time, I think. And you can see it's restarting. Let me just pause the video. It's alright, just leave it here. Because my video is still, the ISO image is still mounted, that's why the reason it says that press any key. And if I was to press any key, the installation would start all over again, and potentially I would lose all my settings. So it's a good idea to, if you have a ISO image or the CD or DVD is inserted in your optical drive, just remove it from there. See, working on feature. It says press Ctrl+Alt to sign in. Oops, starting somewhere else.